Hello everyone, welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope everyone's all well out there in the world. To my right is Jay, and we're here to talk about Chelsea versus West Ham United. Jay, how are you doing?
I'm good. A little bit worse for wear after a down of beers yesterday, and I'll be watching the boys from, I don't know if it's sunny, I was going to say sunny Warsaw tomorrow for a trip that I'm going on in work. But otherwise, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. You know, I'm glad this weekend's here and kind of slowly come to an end. I'm glad the transfer window ends tomorrow. That's more good news. But we've been linked with players, Jay. Evan Ferguson, what are you saying?
Right. First and foremost, can I just say, right, Evan Ferguson he's done his medical. It's almost done. We'll go through the terms of the deal. I called this in December. I went, the only deal I think we will do is Evan Ferguson on loan, and it looks like it's going to happen. Why would you get your news from anywhere else? E20 Zone TV is the place to be. Yeah, mate, I'm pleased with it. I know there's still a lot of like opinions you can have on it. None of them are wrong. Like if it's just a straight loan deal, like how can we really get excited? Probably not. We've fallen in love with loan players in the past, and it's come back to bite us. So hopefully we have managed to get an option in there. I know there's some different stories out there at the moment as to whether we do or don't have an option. So you know we can't control that. All we know is that the guy that Potter wants is probably going to be playing for West Ham. So exciting times, mate. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's like your classic number 9 who can do a bit of everything. He's good in the air. He's good with his feet. He can drop off and get on the ball and get involved in build-up play. He can play off the last man. He can score with his head. He can score with his feet. Mate, like, there's nothing not to like about him. As long as we can keep him fit. Obviously, he got 20 minutes for Brighton as they got thumped 7-0 by Forest at the weekend. So we know that he's ready to play games. Can we throw him in next weekend? I don't know. But at the same time, you know, that's one through the door. We said we needed at least one, or certainly I said I thought we needed at least one, and we've got one. So I'm happy that Ferguson will be playing for West Ham.
Hello to Lee. Hope you're well, mate. I understand the signing. Don't get me wrong. I do, because we need a striker, right? And I'm all down for that. The only thing I don't understand is why is it just a straight loan? And because what it is, you're working with a striker that you might not have next season. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if we have him for 6 months and he ends up doing well, then what? Like, are we going to get him? Are we not going to get him? Is the fee going to go up? Is it going to be out of West Ham's price range? That's the only thing I don't get. Do you understand that one, Jay, at all?
I think I do. If I look at it from Potter's perspective, and you go, look, he come in, our star player Jared Bowen's out injured. The only striker you've got that's actually any good or reasonably good is Fulkrug, and he got injured immediately, and we ain't going to see him for the majority of the season now. If Bowen comes back and he gets injured, bearing in mind you'd be playing him out of position if you play him up front anyway. You're going to have problems. So we need somebody in the door. It's hard to get players over the line on permanence in January anyway, and it's even harder to get them for the right amount of money. So I do kind of get it. He's a known quantity as well. I totally hear the concerns over it being a straight loan. I don't want to fall in love with a lone player and then him go back and us get mugged off and him go and fire at Brighton again. So I do get it. I'm not like I said, I'm not enthused over a straight loan, but I get the reasons behind it. We need bodies in the door, and we need someone who can play up there. So
what are you saying about that from Kim Joe? We're actually signing 3 strikers in one day. Fuck me, Steinem was here nearly 2 years. He couldn't sign 1 striker of any class, and we're signing 3 in one day. What do you make of Coupier Jr.?
First and foremost, Kim Jo-eun, great name. Right, look, I'm not going to pretend that I know loads about the player, right? I don't think anybody who pretends that they know loads about this player is lying to themselves. Let's be honest. He plays in the French second division.
18 years old. I'll read out to you. 18 years old, 17 matches, 9 goals, 2 assists in League 2.
And great. So that's the kind of talent ID that we should be looking for. I saw that Chelsea had been linked to him as well, and Chelsea are very, very good at signing young, unheard of players, sticking them in a youth academy, loaning them out, and then they're worth double when they sell them. They're really, really good at doing that. So if we were to do this deal, get the guy over the line. He's obviously probably, I'd say he's not a player for now. If he comes in, don't expect him to be starting games constantly and tearing it up, because he's an 18-year-old kid who's never played at this level before. So this is one that, similar to Guillaume, I'm going to say we're probably going to have to be patient with. Guillaume is a different kettle of fish. I know that hasn't necessarily worked out, but this is the kind of concept where you would hope that the talent ID is a bit better and a bit closer to the type of player that we need. Certainly from what I've seen of him, I like. I've only seen comps, and comps will only show you the best bit. So
he doesn't really feel like a striker to me, though, Jay. Feels more like a winger to me. I don't know why. I look at him. I've looked at the goals, looked at where he's picking up positions and things like that. He don't remind me of a centre forward. I don't know about you. Have you seen anything of him of any note to say like any different? If you're there, Jay. He's froze on me again. He's froze on me again. He'll be back. He'll be back. Well, I'll chuck him out and let him come back. Well, there you go, people. You can't have it all your own way. Just kick him out and he'll come back in a minute. He's literally froze on me. Listen, I like him. I like that kid. I think that kid's going to be a talent. £35 million is a lot of dough. And I'm going to be honest, I disagree with what Jay just said there before he cut out. I actually think he's coming in to be a bit part player at West Ham. Yeah, I really do. Here he is. He's back in the room. He's back in the room. He froze on me. Froze on me. So there you go. I actually disagree, Jay, with you for once. I actually think West Ham ain't paying 35 mil out for him just to be here to like nurture him in. I think he's coming in here to play. But is he a striker though, Jay, for you?
Yeah, so sorry, I cut off. Apologies, my internet is crap at the moment. So I hear what you're saying on both points, right? Is he a striker? Like maybe not. He's 18. You look at what look at what Arsenal have done with. I know it's a different player, different position, but with Lewis Skelly, who is tearing it up at left back. He played at centre midfield in their youth academy. So if he's playing up front for these guys, maybe he turns into a winger. Maybe he is a striker. Like we don't know. He's at that age where we can mould him into basically what we need him to be if he does join. I also think in Potter's system, it relies on a lot of fluidity in that front three. You've got 2 10s who are going to play quite centrally and drift wide. You've got a number 9 who's going to have to occupy the channels. He's going to have to drop in. He's going to have to be on the last man. So I don't think it matters. I think it's the right profile of player that we should be signing for the squad, especially because if he drifts out wide and you've got Bowen in the 10, in like the right-sided 10 position, Bowen can push on and then you've got a deep runner. So I think it's the right profile of player. I also hear what you're saying. Like if you spend that amount of money, like you do want to be getting a player who's going to come in and play games of football. I just think at the age of 18, never played at this level. I think throwing him in straight away at this side of the season could be good and it could be bad. Like we haven't got a lot to play for. He's got a chance to get used to the Premier League when realistically the stakes aren't that high this season. I don't think we're going to go down. I don't think we're going to go any higher than we are at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know, mate. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? I hear what you're saying, but we'll have to wait and see.
Daniel Cummins, what do you make of him? Celtic's centre forward.
Again, it's an interesting one, isn't it? To get a player on a pre-contract is exactly the kind of thing that I've been saying. The operating in the transfer market has been pretty poor over the history of West Ham, realistically, because we tend to go out and sign players for over the odds and they don't live up to the expectation. You sign a highly rated player on a pre-contract. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you haven't really lost anything at the end of it. So I think the operating wise in a transfer market, it's a good thing. But as somebody said earlier, to sign 3 strikers potentially in a day is this West Ham that we're talking about? This is crazy, isn't it?
3 strikers is a bit mad, yeah, honestly. But what I like about them all is they're all young strikers. Let's be honest, they're all people that have got a point to prove. I think the Junior Croupier, is that his name? Is that his maiden name?
I don't know how to. It's Eli Junior or Krupe Junior.
Eli.
I don't
I'll
call
say
him
Eli
Eli.
for short.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli for short. I actually think that's going to get done. I'm pretty certain on that. I'm not saying anything until it's done, but James knows a man who knows a man who says that it's more than likely going to happen. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Sullivan doesn't decide to say, "Yeah, well, I ain't paying that money," and starts fucking about. But let's just hope he gets it done. The Daniel Cummins one's an interesting one. He's got a very good rate of goals in, like, I think it's the Celtic B team. I think it is. I don't think they've got under 21s up there. So, whatever happens, happens. And like, if we bring in strikers for the future, that's what it's about. Really, that's what I've been trying to say all along for the last week, is you've got to still build now rather than later. Like, it's no point leaving it till the summer because we might not get what we need in the summer. But we will see what happens with that. Are you happy with Evan Ferguson though? If he does come in and start, are you happy with him, mate?
Yeah, I think so. I've always really liked him, and like I say, he's got a high ceiling. He'll have a high work rate, and Potter knows him. The key thing, we can all have our opinions on whether we think he's a good footballer, whether we think he's a good fit, or like whether he thinks this or that. We don't know shit. Like realistically, the man who knows him is the man in the dugout. Like we can all have our own opinions, but the man in the dugout has gone. This is the guy I want. I've worked with him before. I know how he operates. He'll know the system that he's coming into, that Potter's trying to teach people. So it's almost like a head start, getting someone to come in and play in a system that they're used to. And that Potter will go, okay, cool. He can just come in and hit the ground running. So the fact that he played 20 minutes at the weekend, I think is a good thing. 20 minutes in his legs means he's on his way back to full fitness. Means that we probably don't have, especially if we sign this other lad as well, and Bowen comes back to fitness, we probably don't have to just like flog him straight away and chuck him in for 90 minutes. So, I think it's a good signing.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Big one now. Is this the end of Michail Antonio then?
Do you know I was thinking this?
So was I.
This was the only thing that got to me is if come the end of the season, let's say we have Ferguson with an option and Ferguson does well and he signs, and then you've got Ferguson, you've got Eli Junior, and you've got this Cummins lad, and you've still got Fulkrug knocking about. There's no way that we sign Michail Antonio, which it saddens me. And we go down the route of, well, this is how he's trying to build the squad out. This is the future. And Michail Antonio is a very expensive man to be left on the treatment table for half the season next year. So as far as I'm like, I thought exactly the same thing. I think this will spell the end for Michail Antonio at the end of the season, which makes me really sad. But, that's what we got to do, unfortunately. So
painful way to go. Like it's such a painful way to go out if you're going to go out like that. Listen, I don't mind him leaving if he was to get back and, play one game and say a goodbye, then I could accept that. But to be sort of gone after a car accident, that'd be pretty sad. It will be. Right, let's get into this, mate. Match preview time. What are we saying, Jay, about Monday night at the Bridge?
Oh, God. We don't have a lot of good memories at Stamford Bridge, do we? Last time we won there, 2019, I want to say.
Yeah, Cresswell, yeah.
Before that, 2002, maybe. So, we're going to a side that perhaps aren't in their best form of the season. They, at one point, looked really, really good, and then their wins have started to slow down, and they've started to look beatable again, which is a good thing. Graham Potter derby, so Graham Potter is on his way back to his former club. I think that will have a factor in it. He'll know a lot of the players that we're playing against, which gives us some kind of edge in some way. We're up against still a very good side. I've still got horrible memories of how they tore us apart at our place earlier in the season.
And last year.
Yeah, and last year. So, it's going to be a tough game. We'll go to the lineup in a moment as well, but we'll have Mavropanos coming back from his suspension. Does he come in? Do we stick with Soufal and Cresswell either side of Kilman? Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this one because Potter's given me a little bit of optimism after the performance last time out, and I don't want to go into this game with optimism. I want to go into this game thinking the worst and maybe hoping for the best, but we'll see.
See, I see a comment there, and people saying it's going to be a telling game to see if Potter has improved us or not. Listen, he ain't going to improve us over 5 games. It's going to take months, and we've got to be prepared for this. Like we are going to get beaten up in games. It's as simple as that, and we've got to accept it. This game is a big game. Now it's going to be interesting to see how Potter copes with a sort of London derby of London derbies. West Ham Chelsea is always a big game. West Ham Chelsea is a big game. West Ham Tottenham's a big game. And to go to Stamford Bridge, a place where we got absolutely annihilated last year, 5-0 when it could have been 10. We get slapped up at home 3-0 and it could have been 10. We need to be on the ball in this game. One thing West Ham do need to do, and they need to do it pretty good, is come out the traps fast and heads on. It seems like every single time West Ham come out the traps, they're always sort of sluggish. And if we concede an early goal against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, we're going to be in trouble. Like as simple as that. It's going to be a long night. What have you made of Chelsea this year, Jay?
Yeah, a very, very up and down. They've actually been a lot better than I thought they would be, to be honest. They hit some form in the middle part of the season and looked really, really good. And they're still pushing. I think if they do beat us, they go back to fourth. And they, will be on. I think top 5 will get Champions League this year. So they're well in with a shout of getting Champions League again this year. And I think they will end up in the top 5, one way or another. So I think they've done really well, especially with there's obviously always a problem dealing with the size of squad that they've got, but the new manager that's come in seems to have done really well. He's trimmed them down. He's getting the best out of certain players. Cole Palmer's not obviously as big of a differentiator nowadays because the rest of the players have started to pull their weight a bit and they're not having to rely on Cole Palmer, which makes him more dangerous in my opinion. Because if the other players like Noni Madueke, if he's having a good game, he's been super dangerous at times as well. And as we saw when we started treating Nicholas Jackson like he was prime Ronaldo, we left Cole Palmer in acres of space. And he just tore us to bits by playing through balls and just knocking the ball about. And we couldn't live with him. So Chelsea have done really well so far this season, I think. And it's going to be a tough test. I think where the game's won and lost is the mismatch of formations. They tend to play for it back. And as we saw, and again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. One of the things I really liked about what Potter said when he first joined was if we don't have a quality advantage, we'll look for a numerical advantage. And that told in the end against Villa. As you said, we started slow. We tend to start slow. I think that's pretty typical of a team that is still trying to get used to their instructions and still trying to concentrate on where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do in a formation.
Yeah.
But once they get to grips with it, we start to grow and we start to get better and better. And in the end, that mismatch where we had 4 players on 1 at the back post, it ended up on Emerson's head and he scored, is the kind of thing that we're going to need to do if we're going to win this game. So the players to target will be the fullbacks again. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think he was sensational last time out. He's going to have a big game. Emerson's going to have another big game against his former club. And so if we're going to get anything, I think the fullbacks, the wing-backs that's going to be a really important battle for us.
This is a good comment. That's why I've left it up there for so long. How do you guys feel about more than one player playing the same position in the system that Potter is trying to integrate? What are you saying, Joe?
Do we mean like the 2-10s? Is this the kind of thing that we're talking about? Like the fluid kind of tens? It's a difficult formation. It's really, really hard to get your head around. I know Manchester United tried it under Ten Hag as well. They played like a 4-2-2-2, which was even harder to get your head around because it was just so weird to look at, and it was so fluid that a lot of players got lost in that formation, and it'd be very, very easy for players to get lost in that formation for us. Now, what I do like about it is it's brought the best out of Paqueta so far. That fluidity and that freedom where he can go out and express himself seems to have helped him. And I think when we get back to full strength, I think Carlos Soler's suffered a little bit in this formation so far. Probably, I don't really know why. Probably because he's not technically as good as the likes of Bowen, Kudus, Paqueta, and so there's a bit of a drop off in quality. What he brings is the pressing that you need for that side of it, which we saw when we beat Fulham. But what you lose is the quality. So I've no problem with the actual system, as you said. Like it's going to be a bit painful at times. I think it's going to be hard to watch the players getting used to it. The biggest concern for me is not necessarily the 2-10s and the 9 all interchange, and I really like that. It's the 2 centre midfielders behind them. That seems to be where we lose a lot of battles. It's a very slow midfield pairing. There's things they do well, but they get cut through very, very easily. Villa tore us apart in that first 20-25 minutes the other day. And on another day, we could have been 3-0 down at that point. So I think that's where we should be more concerned than the 2-10s and that kind of thing.
See, I agree with you on that. I don't know why, but it seems like when West Ham are bad, West Ham are very bad. And we're all over the place. And we're so all over the place that we don't know exactly what we're fucking trying to do to a point. And teams will punish us. And I've noticed it quite a few times this year. And don't get me wrong, it's under Lopetegui. It hasn't been under Potter yet. But Tottenham away, I see it there where we just collapsed in a space of 7 minutes. Arsenal, we collapsed from the start. Obviously, different managers, different ways. But with Potter, I know that he's working towards something. He's working towards this plan. What is West Ham's best way to beat Chelsea tomorrow, Jay, for you, as in style wise?
Style wise, it's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because Potter likes to keep the ball, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like we're playing. So on the Lopetegui, where Lopetegui liked us to try and keep the ball, but we seem to just play passes for passing's sake.
Mm.
And when we had the chance for a counter attack, we would turn around and we would play it backwards, and we would play this like European slow, like really gradual build up kind of style, and we just didn't offer anything in that kind of style. So I don't have a problem with that in like as a concept, and I think we will still do that kind of thing where we're looking to try and keep our foot on the ball, but we've just got to be incisive on the counter. We've got to be really, really incisive on the counter. What I really liked from Paqueta in the number 9 was we have missed like the interplay, like a 9 who can drop off, play a one-touch pass, and then release a third man. And he did that so well, and it created opportunities. It created counterattacks. We still lack a bit on the transition. We still lack getting bodies in the right positions. I think that will come over time. I think that will also be better once Jared Bowen's back in the sides. So I think quick counterattacks, and I think, as I said, the wing backs are going to be really, really important. I really like the crossing and getting balls in the box to the back post was like really, really good.
Yeah.
Especially when. So this is the thing that we didn't do very much, if at all, under Lopetegui. We just didn't put crosses in the box. So when we actually do build up and we do keep possession, the goal that we scored against Villa was a perfect example. Find a man in space, whip the ball on the back post. You've got Souček, you've got the wing back, and you've probably got whoever's playing up front in there as well. You've got 3 players to aim for. And again, that's probably an area where we're going to be stronger than them is like outnumbering them aerially and using Thomas Souček. So there's opportunities for sure, but the defense is I think it's going to be pretty busy in this game for us as well.
Let's get into it. Starting lineup, Jay. What are we saying about that?
Who's in goal? Did Areola play last time? I can't even remember.
Areola did play last time.
Yeah. And he seemed to be all right from how the game went. I would imagine he sees Areola as his keeper for next year. I would imagine he probably doesn't want to spend the money on a goalkeeper next season, as much as we probably do need to. If you've got a limited budget and he's got a number of positions he's got to go and improve in, Areola's just very hit and miss, isn't he? He can be a brilliant shot stopper and then he can just lose concentration.
He can't play at the back though, mate.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Ball to his feet. Amount of times against Villa, he was kicking the ball out of play or out of touch, and it was just all the fucking time. And it was getting to a point where I'm thinking to myself, don't give it to Areola because he can't do nothing with it. Do you know what I mean? Just you clear it yourself because he's no good at clearing it. Are you saying Areola for this one?
I think he will pick Areola. I agree with you. His distribution's never been good. It still isn't good. Fabianski's is marginally better, but I haven't been blown away by Fabianski either, like in a number of games. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I really don't mind who starts in goal, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's go with the back 4. Or is it a back 3 for you?
I think it's a back 3. I think you probably bring Mavropanos in for Soufal. I know I've got the same. Hence, I said it really like begrudgingly. Yeah. Like you're going to have to. I don't think you can play Soufal in there again. As much as he did pretty well, he's just so slow on the turn, and he got done for the goal. And I fear that the likes of Jackson, Palmer, Sancho, Madueke, like just saying those names, I'm like they have so much more than sort of Villa offered in that game. And I think you have to bring Mavropanos back in and just hope that we don't get a classic disaster class from him.
So are you saying back 3 for you, yeah?
Yeah, for me, I go Mav. Obviously, Kilman was sensational last time out, and I'm sure he'll do the same again. And I'd probably stick with Cresswell as the left centre back. I just don't think there's anyone else you can play there.
Possibly. Fucking Mav worries me, mate. Like it's just the problem is with Mavropanos, he can have a great game up to the 89th minute, and on the 90th minute he makes a mistake. It's just every single time. I'll go with that. Wing backs, what are you saying?
Wan-Bissaka, Emerson, mate. I thought they were both really good last time out. Really liked what Wan-Bissaka was doing on the ball. The downfall of Wan-Bissaka was his work rate, and he ironed that out, and he was sensational in the last game. He was a close runner for man of the match for me. I changed it every time I thought about it. It was either Paqueta or Wan-Bissaka. So yeah, Wan-Bissaka and Emerson are pretty, I'd say, shoo-ins for the wing-back positions. Feel for Ollie Scholes, like he deserves more game time. I think he will get his game time. He's going to have to be a bit patient, but I think in a game like this, you've got to play Wan-Bissaka and Emerson for me.
Let's go midfield. What are we saying about the midfield for you?
I think it's Souček and Alvarez again. I'm not inspired by it because it's so slow. I think it also depends. The concept I was talking about, does Potter want to try Alvarez and Paqueta in the deeper areas at some point this season? I think it's probably too soon for that at the moment. And I think you have to keep Thomas Souček in the side, and you can't play Souček and Paqueta together in the midfield. I don't think. I think that gets absolutely ran through. So I think it's probably Souček and Alvarez again for me, mate. What about you?
If Bowen comes back, then what do we do? Like, do we go three at the three in midfield? Is it like a 3-4-3? Or is it basically a two-man midfield to a point with wing backs, or is it a 5-3-2? Alvarez, Souček, definite starters for me. I think both of them had decent-ish games. Alvarez has got to be on his best behaviour this one. Last season, he was a fucking mess up there at Stamford Bridge. Souček, I'd go, if it was me, Alvarez, Souček, Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen.
Alvarez, Souček, Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen. Yeah.
What else is there? Like, because I think if Kudus comes back, I think you need to flood it with three in the middle, if I'm being honest, and then use your wing backs as you're flying sort of inside forwards to a point.
Do you worry about like transitions in that formation though? Do you worry that we won't have enough men in the forward areas when we're trying to counter attack? Because I do think counter attacks are a big area where we could win or lose this game, and just having the three in midfield, I hear you, and like it will help us win that midfield battle. But do you think you like it's worth it for what you lose out on in the forward areas?
I think basically for me, we have to stay in this game. We have to. We're not going there. Listen, I want West Ham to win, but can I see West Ham going there and turning Chelsea over right now? No, I can't. But one thing I want us to be is hard to beat. And if we're hard to beat, then we can definitely nick something up there. I think more in the second half of this game rather than the first. And I think the first half is more of a containing job for Chelsea to a point. I think Chelsea are going to come all over us. They're just going to come and attack us and be like bombard us with everything at the start. And that is my biggest fear with them. And what someone said earlier, I make them slightly right in what they're trying to say, is it's going to be interesting to see how Potter copes with that, because he's up against a good side now. And listen, Villa were a good side and they fell apart last week. Chelsea have had a 4 weeks prep, no European football. We're going to have to try and stay in this game for me. We really are. Do you risk Bowen in this one?
I would probably. I mean, the only person that knows how fit he is and how ready he is him. Yeah. And like, obviously, he keeps himself as fit as possible. You obviously lose that bit of like sharpness, that bit of match fitness from when you're not playing games. But if he's fully recovered and his foot's better, then yeah, I'll just go and play, because he's your captain. He's the leader, and any questions about his captaincy have been pushed to the side for me now. Like, I think he's proven how much of a leader he is and how good he is as a captain. He's our talisman. He's our goal scorer. Like, I think if he's fit, I agree with you, and I would happily see that midfield free, Paqueta dropping in deep to effectively just occupy those areas and being able to spray balls forward, and having Kudus and Bowen effectively as a front two. One of them dropping in and one of them staying on the last man. Probably Kudus drops in and Bowen stays on the last man. And I like the sound of that. I think that offers a lot of threat on the counter. I think it offers varying threats between Kudus and Bowen as your forward players, and it offers a bit more creativity in the midfield, which we've lacked as well. The only thing you then worry about as well, we talk about Alvarez needing to behave themselves. You're going to need Paqueta to be on top form as well, and you're going to need the issue that he's had a lot of this season, just a lot of his career at West Ham, to be honest. And the reason he's lost a lot of trust and he gets a lot of hate from a lot of West Ham fans is the rolling around. Is like, we'll be trying to get out. He'll feel a little bit of contact in his back. He'll go down. We'll lose the ball, and the other team will go through and score. And that's happened too many times. So, like, for me, I love the bloke, and I'm a Paqueta fan, but at the same time, I still worry about him in those deeper areas. I know that he's got the capability to do it, but is he there yet mentally? He's had 3 good games in his last 3. Is he there mentally where he could take the responsibility in that area? again, don't know. We'll have to see.
I don't think if you have him up front, I don't think he'll do fuck all against Chelsea. If you want me to be real, I just don't see it. I don't see how he gets on time on the ball. I think the Chelsea sort of midfield and defence is too good, really, if I'm being honest, and they'll just smother him and get into him. The issue is with me is that if Bowen's back, what happens with Somerville, mate?
I was just about to say the forgotten man, Somerville. Like, where does he fit into this? Is he fully fit? His is a bit different, and it was a hamstring, so that one you got to be a bit more careful with.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't throw Somerville in straight away because it's a different type of injury. But again, I'm not a physio, so I couldn't really comment in any depth. It was just personal preference in not necessarily wanting to potentially have the bloke get injured straight away again. So yeah, I think Somerville brings an interesting dimension as well. We look at this back three and the sort of problems that we've had with it, the areas in which we might experience problems in this game, and you go, well, suddenly does putting Wan-Bissaka in the back three, taking Cresswell out and having it Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, Mavropanos, does that fix a lot of the problems? I think it fixes a few of them. It fixes a bit in terms of like pace at the back. I think Mavro and Wan-Bissaka are a bit quicker than Cresswell and Soufal, so it definitely helps there. But concentration-wise, Mavropanos and Wan-Bissaka are not great at like just keeping their concentration in a game where we're probably going to have backs to the wall for quite a bit. So yeah, it's not perfect. So I probably wouldn't shoehorn Somerville back in for this game, but I would be looking forward to when we get him fit. Can we put him in that right wing back slot again? Because he looked really good there when he played there, and push Wan-Bissaka into right centre back, and then like overlap with him and work together like they did against Villa. Yeah, I think that looks and sounds really good, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's come to this predictions time. Jay, what are you saying, mate?
First of all, shout out Colin. I saw him say he's chucked 40 bob down on a bet for West Ham to win. What a guy! I'm feeling okay about this game. I think there'll be goals. I really do, and I think West Ham will get goals as well. I can see this being like a 2-2, maybe a 3-2 either way. I'm going to go with 2-2 because I think West Ham we're going to put in a performance. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. It's can we keep up with the goal scoring? I imagine we go behind, but it's can we keep up with them? And I think we'll be able to, especially if Bowen's back. I think it'll be a massive boost to the team if Bowen's back. So yeah, Desmond for me.
Oh dear. What am I going to say on this one? My heart is saying we're going to get something now. But my head's saying something completely different. My headspace is saying I think we're going to get done. And when I say done, I think we're going to get hammered to a point.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling an hammering's coming. I think we're going to try and do so many different things, and it's all going to come on top. And if they score early, then it could be an hammering. Do you know what I mean? Like it was last year. Not 5-0. I'm going to say like probably 2 or 3. But I'm going to go with a draw. I called the draw with Villa last week, and I'm going to go with this again. I think something's telling me that Potter's going to get him up for it. He's got a point to prove there also. Going back to Chelsea, he's going to not want to go there and embarrass himself. So for me, I'm going to say 1-1. I think we score first. They come out. They put the pressure on. Then they equalise, and I think it filters out into another 1-1 draw. One thing with Graham Potter, anyone who remembers him at Brighton, he loves a draw. This man, and I am going to say a draw, mate. Before we go, Jay, anything else you want to add on to? Anything?
We're nearly there, aren't we? One more day. Busy day for you today, tomorrow, isn't it, James? You've got a lot going on. I'm not going to be around to support with the afterthought or anything. I'll be out and about in Warsaw. But yeah, busy day. I'm happy that the transfer window is nearly done. I can't wait to wake up on Tuesday and all these rumours are like put to bed, and we can just focus on the rest of the season. I'm excited for Bowen to come back. I'm excited for Somerville to come back. I'm excited for Todibo to come back soon as well. We've forgotten about him. He's not far off of coming back. And I think he's going to have a lot to prove as well. So I think it'll be really, really cool once we're fully fit again, and we've got the whole squad to choose from. Got a couple of new recruits in. I think the feel good factor will come back to West Ham, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we go on a run towards the end of the season when it means absolutely nothing, and we win like 5 games in a row, and we do something crazy like that. Just and fire our way up from like 15th. It will look really like underwhelming, and we'll go from 15th to like 12th. because of the way that the table is, and because of how far behind we are and how bad our goal difference is. But I can see the feel good factor coming back, and I think there's times of optimism to come, I would say, for West Ham. So onwards and upwards.
I'm happy with Evan Ferguson. I am, to a point. We need a striker at this club. That's the first thing. That's the key thing of all. I want to see a bit more ambition. I do look at other clubs and I'll see them getting players in, and we're sort of umming and ahhing. I'm seeing in the chat there, they're saying about obviously the young French lads could be pushed back till the summer. Yeah, again, it's like the same old cliche that it looks like it's close and something's probably happened there, and it's gone back to the summer. So but I do want to see West Ham try and bring in maybe another player. Not obviously, Cummins is a young 18-year-old striker. He's not going to come in and start, is he? Do you know what I mean? But I just need to see another first teamer coming into the ranks, and hopefully we can get a good. Basically, it'd be a good window for us all. Can you see anyone leaving, Jay?
I don't think so. I don't think we'll get decent bids coming for the player. I don't think we'll get the right bid for him, to be honest. I don't think we have to sell. So, I don't think we sell for the sake of it. I think if we got the 25 mil or the 20-something mil that we want for him, we would sell him. But I just don't see it happening, mate. I don't think anyone's going to be crazy enough to go and bid 20-something mil on a 18-year-old Brazilian that's played about 3 times. Even the Saudis with all their crazy money. So yeah, I don't think anyone will go, mate. I'd happily loan him. Do you know what? He's just not getting games, is he? So obviously, this is the second manager that doesn't seem to fancy him. Get him in the Championship or something. Get him in League One. I don't care. Just get him playing football. It must be really frustrating for him as well. He's made this big move to come over here, and he's not getting his shot. Granted, he's probably not showing enough in training, and he's probably not done enough when he's come on. But at the same time, you'll be a bit frustrated and probably itching to get out the door and play some football, even if it's just on loan. So, yeah, I would happily see him go to a club nearby, in the Championship or in League One, and just tell him to go and play some football. Even go and send him to the Belgian league or something. It seems that players go and have good loans in the Belgian league and places like that. So, yeah, if a good loan come in, just any loan comes in, just send him out, get him playing football, and worst comes to worst, it doesn't hurt him. Best thing that could happen is he plays really well and he boosts his value a little bit. So
good question, this one, because I see Marshall play yesterday for Huddersfield. He played pretty well. I see the assist with a goal that they scored. We spoke about Kadura the other week. We think that sort of League One standard is probably his level. What do you do with Marshall, mate, to round this video up?
What level is he at the moment? Is he League One or League Two?
League One.
League One, and he seems to, everything I ever see seems that he's doing really well. He's really liked there. He's getting goals. I think do the same that we've done with other youngsters in the past and try and then get him alone a step up next season. The best, I don't even know where Huddersfield are in the table. If they're pushing on for promotion,
they're right up there. I mean, right
excellent.
Up
there. Well, hopefully he goes up with them and then he can go back there again next season. I like the concept that a player who is looked after at a club gets we'll send them back there, or we'll send other players there, like we've done with Wickham. Wickham had Freddie Potts, didn't they? And did a great job with him and with Kadua. So Kadua's gone back there. And on Kadua, we said it last time, he's probably not going to make it a Premier League standard, I don't think. Or if he does, he'll be one of these late bloomers, and we probably haven't got the time to invest in him. So I think League One will be his standard for a while, and hopefully he kicks on and makes something out of himself later on in his career. But I don't see him making it at West Ham personally. I haven't seen enough to think that he will.
I think Marshall's a tricky one. Kadua, I agree with you 100%. I think Marshall's a tricky one. I see him in the Championship for West Brom. Yeah, he only played not even a few minutes, really, to a point. And I don't think he was ready. I think at Huddersfield, sometimes the player fits the club, if it makes sense, and it sort of integrates into one. I agree with you. If Huddersfield go up, if they can nab him on loan for another season in the Championship, and Huddersfield a big fan base, and they'll be pushing all the way to the end of the season to try and get promoted, even though they've got Birmingham in their league and all, and Wrexham and a few others. I think it's a good move for him. I think it's a good move to stay there for another season-long loan and go from there, really. But we will see. I see there's a Villa fan in the chat giving my chat a load of shit. How's John Duran doing, Villa fans? I just want to say that. 100 million, you told us. You know what I mean? Fucking lying bastards, a lot of you, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I thought it was the future of Villa. I thought it was £100 million player, and he would only play Champions League football when he was the future of Aston Villa. But Villa fans must have been mistaken on that one. It's not like them.
Yeah, Villa fans need to get in the bin, I'm afraid, because they thought he was going to stay with them forever, and he sadly didn't. That is us done. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell. Jay is going to Poland next week. He's going to be visiting the Polish city of Warsaw. And see the surrounding sites and try and find a place to watch the West Ham Chelsea game and all.
Basically,
we'll be back here tomorrow night, tomorrow daytime. I'll be here to talk about any transfers that happen and West Ham Chelsea after thought, player ratings and all that game. Anyway, from me to you, take care of yourselves out there and each other. Hype. Come with me.